Well, here we are again. A few days ago, I gave you a brief report on the damage sustained to my Nanmu standing Brachiosaurus and a warning that this will probably happen to you as well. I then sent this for repair, expecting it to take maybe a week or two. Thank goodness the good man rushed this for me. And so, here we go again. As much as I'd like to review this in my usual format, I have to violate my sense of order and preface this with another warning. You see, I know a few brave souls will probably decide to roll the dice on this and take delivery after all, prepared for fracture and fixing. Now all that you already know. What I didn't expect was another problem I need to warn you about, so that even if yours arrives unscathed, you avoid another tragedy. And that's because when I received this dead on arrival, I saw no need to add insult to injury by setting the headless statue on the base. In fact, when you saw the base in the foam, it was because I never even bothered to take it out. Now, I really hope that this is just my copy, but the problem is right here. When the pegs go into the holes the right way, you see the footprints here. It's loose, extremely loose. So loose that a moderate knock will likely dislodge it, especially forwards, with disastrous consequences. Whether it's your clumsy elbow or another figure next to it falling over and knocking it down. So there are three solutions I can think of. The first is to find a kind of support under this foot. Not this one obviously, and don't worry, this is new and completely unused. The disadvantage is you lose that illusion of a rearing dinosaur, so perhaps use something like acrylic that at least looks like it isn't there, especially after a few drinks. Now second, you could fill out this area, then affix it with very strong glue. The disadvantage is you're no longer able to remove it for storage or transport. And the third is what the build-up artist did as he repaired this. He put it the opposite way, which is a little tighter, and which gravity helps secure better. But you really need to know this isn't something you can just set and forget. Again, I really hope that yours fits better than mine. Okay, so let's pretend that all this never happened and that the review for this model actually starts here. For me, the first Jurassic Park movie brings back a lot of memories. It was the first time dinosaurs were brought on screen after a long hiatus from Hollywood in a more serious way, and the state-of-the-art technology could give us real animals and imbue it with a spirit that we've never seen before. For me, it was also the last movie we ever watched as a family, before various events and incidents made that no longer possible. And there's no scene in Jurassic Park that moved me more than the very first appearance of a dinosaur, that Brachiosaurus. That moment when it reared up before dropping again with a low-pitched thud that reverberated throughout the cinema theatre. And so I'm delighted to bring you this Nanmu Watchmen standing Brachiosaurus. Now this is a resin model. It's supposed to be limited to 500 pieces worldwide. As you'd expect, it weighs more than the standing version I've already reviewed. It weighs 1.96 kilograms or 4.3 pounds, which is 400 grams or almost a pound heavier than the walking Brachiosaurus. And like that model, it is also intended to be 1:35 scale. Including the base, this statue is about 8 centimeters or 3.2 inches taller than the walking version, or 50.5 centimeters or 20 inches in total. Now detail-wise, it's probably easier for me to give you a once-over. Now starting at the head, just look at that sculpt. Now the standing version has the mouth open, which of course gives you more details like the teeth. And you can see these are very sharply captured. The detail is really good in the head. Not just the ridges, but the detail crossing those ridges and lines of separation. terms of paint, you'll see the various blends of colour giving it an overall brown, though with enough regional variation to be interesting and more complex than a simple drab application. We have the arms and shoulders, and notice the different shades. The hands, the torso. I really like this banding here. The thighs and legs. And finally, the tail. I thought I'd also throw in the PVC version so you can see if there's any difference in quality and whether they're sufficient to prefer one over the other. Now that said, most of us would probably choose the resin simply because of the pose. Now, one of the advantages of resin is that supposedly to discerning eyes, being able to capture sharper, more refined detail. To my plebeian eyes, however, they look very similar, with no great enhancement in the resin over the PVC. Now let me know what you guys think. Nor do I find the paint application superior, even though I like the colour and the pattern. So unless you really want a standing Brachiosaurus, you don't need this one, and you can be very happy with the walking one. Put another way, if the standing had a PVC and a resin version, I'd just get the PVC. Now a quick look at the base. There's nothing too fancy here. You see a tree trunk, some vegetation, and just these two prints to indicate where the Brachiosaurus fits. As with all Nanmu figures, I won't talk about the accuracy, but I do want to shout out one thing, the actual standing pose. In the movie, as you see from this still, the verticality is extreme, with the tail acting like a real tripod. If this is the exact look that you prefer, then this Nanmu won't give you that. For that, the 1 to 20th scale Iron Studios captured it perfectly. What you'll see in this Nanmu is something more anatomically plausible and more natural, which is also why it's not that much taller than the walking version. It's almost like Nanmu tried to sneak in some science and reality. But just for fun, we'll throw in the W Dragon Giraffe Titan. And we do have a nice little group here. For those of you who don't have the other two, here's my customary PNSO Wilson T-Rex for an idea of scale. So let me finish with some thoughts on the packing. Now that has been a big letdown because the statue itself looks great, but using the same packaging for a resin model that you use for a PVC one is mind-bogglingly insane. It's baffling that they didn't learn from other companies who have done the same. Now some people say it's to save cost, If so, that's equally baffling, because surely the cost save doesn't outweigh the negative feeling and backlash from a bunch of angry, previously loyal customers paying for this statue. And please ensure that the connection to the base fits securely. So that's it for my review of the Nanmu Watchmen standing Brachiosaurus. It truly is a beauty to behold and brings back one of the most iconic moments in Jurassic Park, while modifying the pose to something more realistic, and so fits better with the other sauropods that I have. If you thought a Brachiosaurus was imposing on its own already, the standing one ups the ante. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll see you soon for another video.